Morning. I am Day. DAA are my initials. I am in recovery from loss, grief, trauma, and addiction. In my years of active recovery, I have found that upon awakening, it is useful to affirm and devote myself to the me of my recovery, the one that ties all of the pieces together gently, lovingly, and sometimes even fiercely to face each day. With these daily affirmations, reflections, and devotions, walk with me on the recovery journey of hope, renewal, resilience, and self reflection. And remember that you are not alone. Fair use. Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. January 29. The joy of sharing. Life will take on new meaning. To watch people recover, to see them help others, to watch loneliness vanish, to see a fellowship grow up about you, to have a host of friends. This is an experience you must not miss. We know you will not want to miss it. Frequent contact with newcomers and with each other is the bright spot of our lives. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 89. To know that each newcomer with whom I share has the opportunity to experience the relief that I have found in this fellowship fills me with joy and gratitude. I feel that all the things described in AA will come to pass for them, as they have for me, if they seize the opportunity and embrace the program fully. Fair use. Courage to change one day at a time in Al Anon. January 29. Many of us learn the value of self expression in Al Anon. We discover how we feel and benefit from giving voice to those feelings when it seems appropriate. But there's a difference between expressing ourselves and using words to control others. Sometimes the only way I can determine whether I'm trying to control someone else or whether I'm simply expressing my feelings is by noticing how many times I say the same thing. If I mention something that is on my mind and then let it go, no matter what the response, I get it. I am speaking sincerely. If I repeatedly make similar suggestions or ask prodding questions again and again, I am probably trying to control. If I am satisfied only when the other person responds in a way I consider desirable, agrees with what I've said, or take my advice, then I know I've lost my focus. Today's reminder: I am learning to be honest with myself. I will not use my recovery as an excuse to justify my efforts to change other people's thinking. Trying to control other people only gets me in trouble. Instead, I will promptly admit such mistakes and put my energy back where it belongs by focusing on myself. We should have much peace if we would not busy ourselves with the sayings and doings of others. Thomas A. Kempis. Fair use. Just for today, daily meditations for recovering addicts. The first step, an action step, I'll back up. The first step, an action step, January 29. Do we understand that we have no real control over drugs? Basic text, page 18. At first, many of us may have thought the first step required no action. We just surrender and go on to step two. But step one does require action. The action we take in the first step will be evident in the way we live, even from our first day clean. If we truly believe that we are powerless over our addiction, we will not choose to be around drugs. To continue to live with or associate with practicing addicts may indicate a reservation in our program. An absolute belief that the first step applies to us will ensure that we clear our homes of all drugs and paraphernalia. As time goes on, we'll not only continue with the basics but add new actions to our first step repertoire. We'll learn to feel our feelings rather than trying to control them. We'll stop trying to be our own and only guide on our recovery journey. Self sponsorship will cease. We'll begin looking to a power greater than ourselves more and more for spiritual satisfaction rather than trying to fill that void with something else. Surrender is only the beginning. Once we surrender, we need to learn how to live in the peace we have found. Just for today, I will take all the action necessary to practice the first step. I truly believe it applies to me. Today, Emotions Anonymous, Fair Use, January 29. Reflection for today. Sometimes I feel real joy. Like today, it is sunny and very cold. The kind of day I enjoy very much, and I would much rather be outside in it instead of inside looking out my window. Somehow, the brightness of the day says to me that part of emotional healing lies in knowledge and awareness. If I am to solve the problems I have, I feel I can best do it in the bright light of accurate knowledge. Since I do want to solve my problems, awareness will help. Meditation for today. Help me to seek the bright light of awareness and the knowledge of what and where I am. Today I will remember. Only through self acceptance can I bear to take a true look inside myself. Fair use. Strengthening my recovery. Meditations for adult children of alcoholics, dysfunctional families. January 29. Blame. We cannot reach the level of spiritual growth that we are seeking by blaming sick people. BRB means the Big Red Book, page 158. The hard truth about alcoholism and family dysfunction is that there is no one to blame. It may feel as if our parents caused our suffering, but we forget that dysfunction is inherited. They were simply working with what they were given. They may not have willingly set out to harm us. They were reacting to their own sickness and in turn passed down the disease of dysfunction. As children, we experienced unfair treatment and wished our parents would get help. However, we had no control over their actions. But today we have control over whether we hang on to blaming people who could not help themselves at the time. When we let go of accusing sick people, we can focus on ourselves and what can be done in the here and now to help ourselves heal. We loosen the ties that keep us bound to circumstances that couldn't have turned out differently, thereby creating the possibility of limitless growth within us. The affirmation for today: on this day, I will do all that I am capable of to help stop the generational dysfunction in my family. And doing so, I will let go of any blame that is keeping me from experiencing greater levels of recovery. Share, subscribe, and like. And most of all, be the you that you are created to be.